Good advice. Thanks, Amanda. The latest now on the investigation into the recent quadruple murder-suicide involving an entire family in Sheffield.
Law enforcement in Berkshire County putting new plans in place to tackle growing cases of domestic and sexual violence. Western Mass News reporter Audrey Russo has the details.
The Berkshire County D.A. is announcing this new initiative, which involves partnerships with local police departments like the Pittsfield one behind me. She also gave a status update on one of the most recent instances of domestic violence, the murder-suicide in Sheffield.
They can't speak for themselves. It's the job of my office to speak for them, and we want to make sure that we have a true and accurate representation of what occurred.
Though District Attorney Andrea Harrington strongly suspects a murder-suicide, she says the exact method of how Luke Karpinski killed Justine Wilbur and their children in Sheffield last month is still being investigated forensically.
We are in contact particularly with the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner with a time frame, and they're really working hard to complete their work, but the testing that they're doing is complicated.
She says the family's home, where the 5 bodies were discovered in the aftermath of a fire, has now been released back to the insurance company. The executive director of the Elizabeth Freeman Center in Pittsfield shares her perspective on why suicidal men tend to act violently against their families.
In our culture, there is a sense of ownership. It's because they feel like those people are theirs and they have the right to do that.
Officers with the Pittsfield Police Department say they've noticed the problem increasing in their day-to-day work as well.
I think the fear of being a victim, the fear of being involved maybe to the system, it's an unknown for some victims. And it may be the first for some victims as well.
Officials say that fear, combined with the isolation of a rural community, is exactly why the DA's plan for more training, services, and prosecution is paramount.
Studies have shown that violence in rural areas is more severe and more chronic. And it's often very much hidden. I mean, people who live in rural areas, there's few places to turn.
As for the new initiative, the DA says it's entirely victim-driven and that she's not going to force anyone to come forward who doesn't feel comfortable or able. Reporting in Pittsfield, Audrey Russo for Western Mass News.